The children in our country are being made to be the victim of a situation they are not involved, and then sent to a foster home where they again are reintroduced to trauma of being the odd ball. Our courts are contaminated with young, inexperienced caseworkers and polluted with bribes, high-priced bonuses for speedy adoption of terminated parents, and judges who don't practice law with the Constitution in their sights. This is a problem. George Washington never thought of children as pawn in the game of freedom and American values, and never had he wanted to sell them. They were from his maker, his creator. Our children are being run down for no other reason than the profits being made in some way. Somehow these government agencies make money hand over fist day in and day out. They have you go to classes that they are billing for, and there is no viable reason for you to attend. Yet when you hear an update, CPS tells you that you're further away from when you started. Reunification is your goal, not theirs. And after you go through 12+ months of grueling, painstaking classes and meetings, all while getting the slimmest amount of time to visit your child, and even worst, you are always supervised, never alone again with your child. It's awful. How do they feel, do you think?
Where's the outrage? Why is nobody standing up for these families being torn apart by CPS?
Please don't tell me you're going to put all your bets on this superhero. You grown-ups are supposed to be coming to his rescue. Stop ignoring this problem. There is nothing more I can say to any of you. Please fight CPS and help those who have lost so much they can help themselves.
In the United States, CPS makes upwards of $3 billion per day on trafficking and selling our children. The corruption may start with the caseworker, but goes through the judicial system, passing the governor through the Senate and into the White House. The entire system has a hand in the business known as CPS.
Our children are stolen every minute of a 24-hour day. They are being robbed of their innocence, their trust, their happiness. As parents, we are isolated and betrayed by a government we trust. States are balancing budgets on kids' lives. Only 12% of the kids taken will be reunified. Title IV funding is being riveted with fraud.
We need to stop CPS. CPS and AbolishCPUs.com is leading the way. Join us.
All right, what's up, everybody? Check, microphone check out. All right, good. We're good here. We're good. We're real good. Let's stop this video. What's up, everybody? Welcome to CPS Victims Hunting Justice. I am your host, CPS Punisher, and we got a lot to do tonight. So bear with me here because there's still a lot of confusion, as you can see, with the little bit of changes that we've implemented and so on. So just please bear with us with that. Let me get rid of this little video here. I'm going to switch me over to here. Okay, here I come to see the video. Where am I? I should be here. But, I'm going to go back to the We'll figure it out, right? All right, so still trying to get used to these new things that they've come up with. Hey, don't forget, guys, we have the chat right here. As soon as I can get rid of this damn thing, we have the chat that goes right here. Don't forget to chime in on that with us because we want your comments and your questions. Let me see. Let me just work on getting out of this thing here. Let me see. Here we come. Screen. Let's see. No, I don't know where the hell. I don't know. I'm trying to pull this here, but I can't seem to freaking do it. Let me see here. Let's get rid of this. Replace, hide. All right, there we go. All right, thank you very much. Technology. So guys, listen. It is very important that we go back to what we were talking about yesterday about the politics of the election that's getting ready to come up. I never realized this, and I never even took thought into what Donald Trump had really done when he was in office in 2020. So what he did was, by authority vested in him, the president, by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is ordered as follows. Section 1, purpose. Every child deserves a family. Our states and communities have both the legal obligation and privilege to care for our nation's most vulnerable children. It says the best foster care is the one that's not needed. Donald Trump, in this executive order, went through and guidelined out what we needed to have done so that our kids were not taken into DHS custody. See, Trump doesn't want this. He doesn't want our kids being raised by the states. You guys should definitely check out the executive order. It's called the Executive Order on Strengthening the Child Welfare System for America's Children, and it was issued on June 24th, 2020. If you guys want a copy of it, get a hold of me. I will reach out to you and I will give you guys a copy. Email me here at the CPSV Hunting Justice. We got Herbert back here. Let's see what Herbert has to say. Herbert, how we doing, buddy?
Hey, good. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, we had a little every night, 2 nights in a row now. We've had some sort of mess up here on the computer, but I mean we're breaking through it. We're figuring it out with the new program and everything. But what'd you think of that new video I put up?
Oh, it was a very nice video.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of hitting on the realms of what you're trying to do. Like the education of people. Like where does this lie with CPS? What do we got to do to educate these people? How do we got to get our message across? What do we got to do, Herbert?
Well, people have to want to learn. It's interesting because I just came across talking to some friends who were going to adopt a puppy dog, and the adoption agency had to come out to the house to check out the condition of the home and everything else before they allow them to adopt the puppy dog. But yet, right, when people have children are born in the hospital, nobody goes in the house to check the house out.
Right. Yeah.
They don't have a clue what the condition of that house is that the newborn baby is going into.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. I mean, where does that lie? I mean, because now you were talking about overall safety for everybody. You know, like we're talking about safety for all types of people, for babies that are born first. It's not just a DHS thing. It's a just a right and wrong thing. You know, like you.
No, we're talking about safety for. We're talking about safety for children.
No, absolutely.
Children is.
I'm saying, you know, before it was, how do we keep CPS out? But now you're talking.
No, I'm saying, how do we keep CPS out?
Right.
But I was just bringing that up as an example of how they put more emphasis on the puppy dog for checking the safety of the children than two people having a child at the hospital and they go home. nobody is investigating the condition of the home. They don't care.
Right, they're just letting the young couple traipse on out of the hospital and they're just go wherever they go.
Yes, that's right.
But
you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that if you adopt a puppy dog. Not going to happen. If you go to an adoption agency.
I do know that they check the car seats. I know that that's a new thing now, that they make sure that the car seats are all checked out and that those things are made to, you know, be safe for the young one. Be, you know, everything's legit. You know,
that's very true. At the hospital, they do that. They walk out and they want to see the condition of the car seat, the whole 9 yards. You're 100% correct.
Right. So I mean, at least that's a start, right? Like that's the beginning of that. But what happens when the car drives away? And how do we know? You know, when CPS comes, how do these parents know? You know, like these things that maybe they weren't taught right to know that you know, they need the little electric covers on the outlets, you know, for the baby not to put their fingers in. Maybe people don't know that they need to have the fences up on their on the gates, you know, on top of the stairs and everything, because the little baby will go up. I mean, but how do you know? You can't come in now and penalize a parent for having these things when you never told them before, right?
No, because they're going to say the responsibility of that is up to the parents. The parents should know there should be devices to put in the socket. There should be, if you have a staircase, you should have a gate so the child doesn't fall down the staircase. Or if you have a pool, you should have railings around the pool. But there should be a playbook. I believe that hospitals and medical places, they really need to sit down with would-be parents or the newbie parents and explain everything to them to help them avoid being a target of CPS.
Right. Like
a lot of people fall into I bet most of your guests and people listening have issues with CPS, and if they had known better, they would have done better.
Yeah, I love that. I love that saying. If you know better, you would have done better, and that's it.
Exactly.
That's what you're trying to do. That's what you're trying to do now, is reach out and educate these, because see, the people that are watching us they've already gone past the Herbert zone. You know what I mean? Like
if you're in the system, I can't advise you. You know, once you're part of CPS, there's nothing I can advise you of. My thing is to try to help you avoid CPS.
Right. Yeah. No. That's it. So how do we make that appeal or that outreach to these parents that are going to say,
you cut out for a second. Hello? 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 Hello?
Herbert, here I am.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Now, I'll give you an example. Nobody would think twice about this. To have a child that's 10, 11, 12 years old to babysit their siblings, right?
Right.
Okay. But if a child is required to do the majority of the parenting for the younger siblings, it could lead to child neglect charges with CPS.
Okay.
A child required to parent their siblings full time is not able to grow and be a normal child.
Right.
They're also often under a lot of stress that can cause physical and mental health problems.
Yeah.
Now, that's a target for CPS. But I bet everybody listening to me would say, oh my God, I have my daughter, she watches when we go out to the store or whatever. She's 11 years old, she's 12 years old. That is a target for CPS.
Yeah. So, but I mean, how does that
I'm not
happen?
saying don't do it, but you can't make it, okay, I'm not saying don't do it from time to time, but you can't make it a full-time thing where you're having that child watching their siblings.
But what if we
because you're making yourself a target.
Right, but what if we take it a step further and say, you don't tell anybody that your child is watching your kids?
Then you're good. Yeah, well, you're good. If nobody knows your kids are being watched, then you're good.
Right. Well, that's it. So if you don't tell anybody,
yeah,
then nobody has.
Nobody knows.
No.
Nobody knows.
Right.
Nobody knows. And if the child answers the phone and doesn't say my parents are not home, nobody knows. But if there's a fire that breaks out and the fire department gets there and they got to clear out the house, the fire department knows.
Right. And good for that kid for knowing what to do to get out of CPS. I mean, get out of the fire. But what I'm saying is this.
Oh, they'll get the kid out of the fire, but the parents are going to be on radar for CPS.
Right, of course. But here's the thing. We used to know, like I taught my kids, or my daughter, my oldest daughter, who's, a matter of fact, she's here tonight with me, but she knew if someone ever called the house, because she was alive during the house phone era, because, kids don't know so much. No one really calls to see if you're at home now. They call you get your personal cell phone. But when you had a house phone and you answered that house phone, the number one thing your kids did was they said that your parents were in the bathroom. You were taught as a child, and then and beyond from people that had phones in the house, you never said that you were alone in the house. You always said that your parents are taking a shower or things like that, because you didn't want to alert a stranger to the fact that you had you were there by yourself as a kid. Because listen, when I was a kid, we were alone all the time. Our parents worked, they went to the store, they did this, they that. I mean, probably same with you too. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but
he was older than me, and that was it was nothing for us to be home on a Friday night, up until midnight when my parents came home from working at the commissary. And we would be home. My brother would be watching me. I was 4, he was 10, and that was acceptable. And the doors were locked.
Yeah, but Darren, I'm trying to focus on nowadays. I'm not talking about before the. Here's what I'm trying to. The example I'm trying to give you. Every car has a headrest behind it, right? Okay. Every vehicle has a 3-point safety strap that you have to put on your safety belt.
I get what you're
saying. Back in the day, we didn't have headrests and we didn't have safety belts.
So my point is how do you get people back to that mentality? Because that was second nature when we were doing this. So CPS issues weren't an issue then, because you already knew what the defense was.
Yeah, but that was during the days when CPS wasn't an issue. Now they're becoming an issue. Now when a doctor says a child needs a certain medication, you can't say, well, I'm not going to give that medication. I don't believe in that. If the doctor says it, you don't do it. It's a mandatory for that doctor to contact CPS.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't happening back in the day.
Right. Well, this is what I'm saying. How do we bring it back? How do we get back to those skills that you were already taught as a child, that your parents taught you all the time? That was just part of everyday life back then. So we already knew the skills that we needed to defend ourselves against CPS as children. Because we just
it's called educate. People have to get educated.
Right. And then how do we get them to want to be educated against an entity that they don't believe in, and that they don't think that we're right, and they think that we're all tinfoil hat wearing people, and they don't want to get involved with CPS until it's too late and they've already taken their kids?
Well, when it's too late, it's too late. But how can we do it in advance? We have to
Right.
encourage people to get educated. You have to get books. I've been buying books, material, periodicals, all kinds of stuff on the subject. It's out there. It is out there. Actually, I got one here. Let me pick it up. I don't know if you can see it. Can you read it?
How to avoid CPS. A quick guide. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Who wrote that?
Somebody, let me see. Let me see if I can find who wrote it. But I mean, there's books out there. It's by a person named Lee Russ, Leah.
Okay.
Last name is Rusk.
All
So
right.
Leah. Last name is Rusk. And I'll show you the front of it again.
Yeah, that's a great book. That's a perfect book to get, man. If that tells you.
That's only one.
Right.
That's only one of many. That's only one of many books I have on how to avoid being a victim of CPS. There's a whole lot of books out there.
Right.
There's stuff out there that's blowing my mind that I never even thought about.
Right. Well, Herbert,
That we do every day with children, and we never think about it. I mean, you know, just recently in Lake Havasu, a little baby, I think 4 months old, died from heat exhaustion. Oh boy, that's CPS. I mean, they didn't properly take care of the child. A 10-year-old boy up in South Mountain, Phoenix, Arizona, died just doing what he normally does, climbing out in the mountain. But he wasn't properly dressed. He didn't carry enough fluids and, enough fluids with him to drink. And he died as a result of heat exhaustion.
Wow.
His parents will be on the radar, CPS. You know what? You've taught me this, Darren. Since that child died, they're going to go to the house and probably take the other children.
Oh, of course they are. That's over for them. I mean, that's over. And in those situations, depending on what gravitated the situation to be that way. Now, we understand that things happen, but what got them, like what caused that death? Like if the kid had an asthma attack.
I'm going to tell you what caused the death. It happens out here every day. Probably as I'm speaking now, somebody's being helicoptered to the hospital because of dehydration. And it's usually people from other states. People living here, we know how to handle this heat. But people coming in from other states, it's 113 degrees. But they're not feeling 113 because we have a dry heat. So they figure they could walk out with one bottle of water. They could go up to the top of the mountain, hike up there, and hike back down. Once you start feeling thirsty, it's too late. You can't drink enough water. You have to go to the hospital and get an IV.
Yep, you're absolutely right about that. You'll never catch up on it.
See? So back to the child that died, the one that went up into the mountains that was 10 years old. Chances are his parents didn't even know he went hiking by himself, or he went with his friends or whatever. But CPS will be knocking at their door. That's what you have taught me.
Yeah, they're coming. And they don't seem, what's odd to me in the state of Maine anyway, is the kids, which we have an unruly amount of kids dying in the care of CPS, and Vinny can back me up against this one here. But it seems to me that these kids that are dying are having 30 and 40 and 50 reports made on them.
Oh yeah,
CPS
most definitely.
And then it gets to the point that they are, the inevitable happens and nothing. But yet they get parents like us that, you didn't, there was nothing really that was so, detrimental or anything at all to the child. CPS is right there at your front door the next morning at 7 o'clock. Wanted to see the kid, wanted to take the kid, all this stuff for nothing that had to do with anything involving anywhere near, a homestead or whatever. So the problem is, or not the problem, but the question is, what are they hiding, or why are they not going after these kids that are really being called in on, and they're just kind of putting them off to the side? What is that all about, I wonder?
Because they really don't care.
We used to call it on Miss G's show, she called it damaged goods. Nobody wants damaged goods, like a kid that's been really abused, a kid that has big time emotional scars, which all of them will have these emotional scars. There's no doubt about it. Just the trauma of being removed from their home, whether they were abused or not, is enough to send them into this whole traumatic mindset and just turn evil to them.
Well, you see, I'm glad you brought that up because that's going to be part of my next study after Avoid CPS. My next study is going to be on when a child is taken away from a home, okay, that's really, it was a minor thing going on, but the child was taken away. The child, if it's not placed, the child ends up in a group home, which now there's going to be a bigger problem.
Right.
Worse than what it was when it was with their parents.
Yeah.
And CPS doesn't do anything about the group home? I don't get that. I'm not connecting the dots on all this. You're taking a child out because something happened in the home. So you take the child away. And then you put the child with a placement, foster. But if you can't do foster, you end up putting the child in a group home. Now the child's really getting jacked up. And meanwhile, back at the ranch, mom and dad is trying to fight CPS. Right. I don't have one book or periodical about fighting CPS. I have nothing, absolutely nothing on fighting CPS. But I have numerous books on how to avoid CPS.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the thing, Herbert. We are in that mindset now. We are in the let's prevent this stuff from happening. I know Mandy and Martin were here. I don't know where they went because they definitely would be able to put their 2 cents in. And now Vinny, we just lost Vinny here. I don't know where they went, but let's take a look here. Let me see if I can pull up. Well, did you know that I'm writing a book right now, and that's what this pertains to. Is it's a comprehensive guide to how-tos, just like what you're asking for. Let me see if I can pull it up on the screen here for you. Might be able to show you it. Show you what I'm talking about here. Let's see. Where are you? All right, Vinny's back here. Okay. There he is. Let me get Vinny out here. Hey, Vinny. What's up, buddy? Got you back now.
Hi, Vinny. How are you, Vinny?
I'm doing all right. How are you, Herbert?
Hey, Vinny, I'm sorry to interrupt. I didn't mean that. So go ahead, Herbert. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I just said hello to Vinny. That's all.
All right. Sorry about that. Let's while I'm looking for the book here, Vinny, why don't you key in everybody about your story a little bit? We're here to talk about something a little bit different, not about Vinny's story, but some things that are going on in CPS. But Vinny, you want to just let everybody know how you kind of got here?
Absolutely. Well, I've been doing some digging throughout my case with CPS. And I'm finding a lot of discrepancies in everything as far as hearsay evidence being used, them having reports of falsified documentations, and I have proof of this on the police reports. And I basically have been scrutinized by the department since I was a child. And this has happened most of my life throughout my family. They've scrutinized my family. And I've been dealing with them on and off for eons. And every single time they close the case out, and I have the case file sitting in front of me, and I'm just going over it, and I'm looking and I'm going, yeah, well, I don't understand half of this malarkey and bullcrap that they got in here. But on almost every report, when they were trying to make a case, it says the report was deemed inappropriate at intake level.
Really?
On almost every aspect of this, and they have in there that, he has a history of violent and threatening behavior. Well, let me explain something to the viewers and to everyone. The only time I had threatening behavior in my entire life was when I was with my ex-wife. I came home. She was over doing laundry at her mother's, and I came home to my house from work. no lights, and my roommates dealing drugs out of my kitchen. And it was the only light in the house. They had taken all my light bulbs, everything. So what I do, I went in, I grabbed my hammer, and I smashed their damn light.
Huh.
So I got a criminal threatening charge out of that.
Right.
But and every aspect of this, like the next one is the department closed with unsuitable findings of emotional maltreatment. But like it states in here, and I highlighted every aspect of when they closed a case, and it's all the same thing. Inappropriate for a CPS response at intake level. The report was deemed inappropriate at the intake level. Deemed inappropriate for CPS. I mean, these are in all the reports.
So what makes them right? So why do they keep continuing on? If they say that they're not going to be, if there's no reason for them to be in your life, then why are they? And then there's the other thing, Herbert. Here's the other part of this pie: is you might be able to avoid CPS. You might get away with it once, but they're going to hit you on some other aspect. Like once they get there, once they try you. So let's say CPS comes to your door, you pull up some Herbert foo. You know, you get out there, you do Herbert foo. You know, and you're like, nope, you don't have a warrant. Nope, you're not coming in. Nope, not talking to you, kid. You know, Miranda, all this. You give them all that stuff. Well, now they come back from a different angle, or by now they've done a little more digging on you, because what they do is if they can't hit you on that first wave, they're going to go back and dig something up until they do get you something or somewhere in their paperwork that this does work and stick to you.
Okay, so let me see if I can address that this way, as an analogy.
Yep.
You can look in your house and say, I don't have ants. Put down a piece of hard candy on the floor. The next morning, you're going to see all kinds of ants.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say is that if you see one ant, just one ant, you have ants. So when CPS comes one time, they're in your life now.
Right.
They're in your life. If they come one time, just one time for something simple, they're on you. They're like ants.
But see, this also goes back to the topic of, you know how they do this is through Katahdin.
Right.
Through what? I'm sorry.
Yeah, check this out, Herbert. Wait till you hear this.
They have a program that they're supposed to be using when the initial intake is on the phone call. It's called an AI system, Katahdin. Okay. This Katahdin program is only supposed to be used at the intake phone call. That is it. They are using Katahdin throughout the entire process, all through.
How would a person get involved with Katahdin in the first place?
As soon as you make a phone call in on their recorded line, that enters into Katahdin.
No. What? Give me a scenario.
Say CPS comes knocking at your door. They're doing an investigation. Okay. They enter that information in. And this system is failing because of what they are doing. And it is causing so much backlog in their system that it's repeating the same file over and over and over again.
Well, let me go to the very beginning. Why are they knocking at your door?
That is the mystery.
Okay. Are you aware that it's a law now, it happened within the last few months, that if your neighbor forcefully reports you to CPS is unfounded, that they will be charged with a misdemeanor?
That's good.
No,
I
was not aware of that.
Yes. That only happened within the last few months. You could do your research, you could Google it or whatever. If you forcefully report incident to CPS, is it a crime? Google that. If you forcefully report incident to CPS, is it a crime? And you're going to find it's a misdemeanor. So my question is, if I have children at my house, why? First of all, why is CPS knocking on my door? There's got to be a reason.
Of course.
I made myself a target in some way, shape, or form.
But that could be a whole array of things, like we say.
Yeah, it can be a multiple of different things. They can knock on your door just for school. I mean, just like the conversation yesterday, they will knock on your door if your child misses a day of school.
Yes, excellent. You got it. If the child misses a day of school, I mean, that's really stretching it, because the principal is going to call the house. Hey, what happened to little Johnny? You're going to say Johnny wasn't feeling well. We forgot to let you know he wasn't coming to school. CPS is not coming to your house. But if little Johnny goes to the school and complains about mommy and daddy are always fighting and cursing and it upsets me, it's mandatory for the education people, teachers and principals, to contact CPS. Now they're going to come knocking at your door because a kid was upset, went to school and told their good teacher what was going on. And then the teacher feels obligated to tell the principal, who feels obligated to cover their butt and contact CPS.
Well, I mean, I can prove the other theory about these schools too, because I had a conversation today with some actual students that are getting out of high school who got out this year, and they explained to me today that these schools are putting litter boxes in their schools and making these kids believe that they are cats and dogs. And this is coming from high school students. That's disgusting.
You're talking about they don't let them go to a bona fide bathroom?
No, they're teaching them it's okay to be a furry.
What the hell?
By giving them, maybe I'm losing something here. Are you saying that they're having them do their poop and everything in a litter box, or you're just giving me an example of something?
No, they are actually doing it in the schools.
This is crazy.
They're doing what, Vinny? Wait, Vinny.
They're using litter boxes.
Darren, you got to tell Vinny he's got to be careful with me. You got to explain to Vinny how careful he has to be with me, because I make phone calls.
Yeah, right.
I make phone calls.
This is fact. I've heard this from numerous high schoolers that they've done this. Give me a high school. Give me a high school. I don't know the names of it, but one of the kids that I was talking to was from Pennsylvania.
Find out the high school.
I know that
I would be on that. I could be on that phone like white on rice, making that phone call.
Well, you're gonna be. I'm gonna hold on.
I mean, if you talk to Darren will tell you how in depth I do investigations. Am I correct, Darren?
Yeah.
Well, then I got a school that you would love to investigate, and that is Lake Regent High School here in Maine allows their teachers to teach these kids that it is okay to be transgendered when they're straight or they're girl.
Wow.
They teach that it's okay. They're teaching them that it's okay to be transgendered.
Wow.
Or are they informing them that it's okay?
Oh, no.
There's two different things here.
No. You walk into the school and all you see is gay pride stuff. I do not lie about that.
Well, I think that isn't that constitutionally something going around the United States now that is acceptable? I think so.
But it should not be in our schools.
Then that's where the PTA gets together with the school and say, cut it out.
You would think.
You would think, but they don't.
No, has the parents got together and attacked the school?
I do not know.
What's the name of the school? What's the name of the school?
Lake Regent High School.
Lake Regent. Lake Region High School, right? And that's in Maine?
Yep.
Okay.
Herbert's on that one. I can feel it. I can feel the herb burn. I don't know what's going on with my camera here, guys. I apologize. I'm trying to figure it out right now.
They were telling my daughter at 11 years old that it was okay to be gay.
Wow. Well, I bet you that there is some validity to that because Maine also, I don't know if they ended up being a harboring state or if they were just entertaining it, but they were going to be one of those, the ones that entertained for the, the whole, you could, when they were saying that you could leave your parents, you could leave your parents behind and then, go to another state, get TPR'd and get that transgender surgery. So maybe I don't doubt why that Vinny's not maybe telling the truth here about this 100%. It's good. I mean, it's not as crazy as it sounds, man. This is stuff that's really happening.
So my question to the school is gay education taught in the school? It's a simple question.
Yes.
LGBTQ, is that taught in the school? If the answer is yes, it is taught in the school. There's your answer. Right. Now, can you get it out of the school? Yes. As parents, you have to all get together. Teachers' parent meeting, whatever it is, get with the board, get with the superintendent, and you have to get it out of the school.
Right.
But if it's allowed in the school, then what your daughter's saying is correct.
Right. Carrie says, Herbert, they want to be called furries. These cat-like, let's see here. Hey, Carrie, how are you, too? We haven't seen you in a minute. I'm glad that you're here with us. Thank you for showing up. She says, Herbert, they want to be called furries. And then she says, they let it happen so the kids don't just focus on being furries. If they accept them as furries, then they move on from the issue and work on schoolwork. So you're saying that they use that as a tool to not focus, Carrie? I don't know.
I think she's talking about the term fur babies. I know I've heard that term before. They try to refer to them as fur babies. I was talking to somebody else already about our military. That our military is now being consisted of a lot of recruits that are going in. They're fur babies.
Oh,
I've heard that term.
Wow. Carrie, can you come on? Yeah, right. Carrie's going to come on with us. Carrie, I'm going to send you the link right now. You know what? I'm just going to plop it on right here for you. I'm just going to put it right here. And, if we got, I don't, if anybody else has, my middle son just graduated and he says it is bad in the high school, she says. Wow.
So to that person, let me ask that person, you could type it back to Darren. Is it part of the curriculum for that to be taught in your son's school?
Carrie's coming on the show. We're getting Carrie.
No, the person that somebody else just typed something you said.
No, that was Carrie. It was.
That's Carrie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're getting her in here to talk to us here right now. All right. Let's see. Duke. Okay. All right. Yeah. Peace.
Yeah, because even CPS was referring to my daughter as Trixie. Now, you all know what the meaning Trixie means, right?
Of course.
You see me shaking my head?
Yeah,
you see me shaking my head?
I'm not okay with that.
You know dang well what Trixie is, right?
Exactly.
No, I don't know what Trixie is. I don't know.
Right.
I already got in trouble. Hey, listen to this. I already got in trouble one time with a guy saying to another woman that was near me, hey, you know how you could tell a real redhead? I'm like, by looking at her head. Did she dye her hair or not dye her hair? He said, oh, no. I said, oh, you can always tell a redhead. I don't know what the guy's talking about.
Right.
I'm looking at her head, and I'm saying she looks like her hair is true blue red right down to the roots of her head. I'm looking at her head. Then the girl got upset with me. I said, well, you getting upset with me? I said, the guy says, You know how you could tell a true redhead? Ha! Yeah, by looking at the hair. He was talking about something else, and I totally didn't get it.
Yeah, it went over your head.
Totally went over my head.
So you're old fashioned. You're getting old.
No, it's not old fashioned. It depends on what group of people you're on with.
Well, you're under the all right, okay.
Okay. I don't deal with reds, blondes, brunettes, strawberries. I don't deal with all that. I didn't even know what a strawberry head was. I found that out. It's a derivative of a redhead.
Right. That's funny as hell. So we're waiting for Carrie. I just sent Carrie the email.
I tell you something, Vinny. When I was in the department and we got a call of a description of an individual, they would say that the person's a dirty blonde. I'm like, okay, is he white, black, Hispanic, Chinese? No, he's a dirty blonde. What the hell is a dirty blonde?
So what's the answer? It's a person that doesn't play fair with yellow hair?
Well, no, they stopped doing that now. They stop when they give descriptions, they give full descriptions. They don't just say, redhead, strawberry head, blonde, dirty blonde. Give a description. What is the person's complexion? What's their size? What are they wearing? Be specific.
I see. But regardless, okay, so we just sorry about that, and I let it drift off too. We're waiting for Carrie to come on because she's going to explain some of the things that have happened to her son in school. And I just can't believe this, that they really do this. Our friend Vinny here has just told us that they're putting litter boxes in the schools for them to be able to associate with whatever the hell they're trying to do. I guess Carrie's got some really good information about this that she's going to share with us. So she should be here in a moment. So no one run away. Actually, you know what, guys? For the first time in a long time, let's do a quick commercial break. Let's take a 2-minute commercial break. We'll be right back. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay.
We'll be right back, guys. Give us 2 minutes, and if I can get down to these commercial breaks here, give us 2 minutes, and we'll be right back with you guys. Stay tuned for this upcoming stuff. It's going to be good.
Who has been torn away from their security blanket, their parents, the ones who stopped the boogeyman from terrorizing the nights and curing their boo-boos when they scrape their knees. Now just imagine how they mightest feel when the CPS meant to protect them tears them away from their supposed abusers and places them with strangers who have zero comforting skills. They need to be calmed. They are confused, lost, panicked, and needing their parents, but CPS took them away for the purpose of saving them. The kids don't even know why, and they are told that the parents they attach to no longer want them. What do you think that does? Do you think that this is how protecting children is supposed to look? Abolish CPS.
All right, guys, welcome back to the show here. We did our first commercial here, and we've got our special guest Carrie with us. Let's let Carrie in here with me and Vinny up here on the screen. Let me see if I can get her in here. Carrie, I'm pushing your button, but it's not letting. There we go. I was pushing Carrie's buttons, and it's not letting me. It's not letting me get. Hold on, Carrie. This is just absolutely asinine. All the amount of troubles that we're going through here. I just can't believe it. Hold on, Carrie. I'm trying to get you in here.
Gotta love simulcasting.
Yeah, I mean, this is just crazy. I mean, we're having. All I'm trying to do is push your button. That's it. Like just trying to turn her in here. It's not. There we go. I got you. You in, Carrie? Can we hear you, Carrie? I don't hear Carrie, Vinny. Do you hear Carrie, Vinny?
No, I don't hear her either.
Oh, man. Hey, Carrie. Carrie's here. We want to hear what. Hey, Vinny, check this out. I made a couple new designs, man. So I'm trying to put together a couple of things. Man, this camera's really bugging me out, man. Because my real camera's all of a sudden just shut off, and I don't understand what the hell is happening here. This camera's real dark and it's not doing what it's supposed to, and I don't even know it's picking up my audio, but something is, so that's good. At least you guys can hear me. But check this out. I designed a new ribbon. You know how like everybody has these ribbons for their cars and all this stuff? Well, this one I've designed for CPS, man. It says support not removal, I believe it says. Yeah. Support not removal. And it's it's to support abolishing CPS. Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. Support, not separation. And it's got the little logo that I did for terminating parental rights down here on the bottom with the handprints and the little family up here. And it also says abolish CPS on the inside of it. I'm working to put these things on some, real magnetic ribbons so we can sell those and start helping people out with the cause. We can start doing that. Those are also, they'll be available here and at the show website. So make sure that you guys check out that at abolishcps.com because you guys get a ton of information there.
I would say make some into stickers too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then this here, I want to explain this one to everybody. So this here is, the POW, prisoner of war flag.
Yep.
All right. So I took the design from this from the prisoner of war flag. So I put the child, it's usually the man's head here with the tower, and the barbed wire fence. But for this, I took the child, I put him here with the family home, with like the family sitting there, and then the separation of this child from his family, and it says TPR, which is terminate parental rights, and then TFF I came up with, and that meant terminate family forever. So terminate parental rights, terminate family forever, reunification, not termination, and then right there on the let me see here. Hold on a second. I don't want to quote my own things wrong, but it says we did not agree, and that goes along, like I said, with my the red, the red terminate parental rights one. Let me see if I can find it here. I don't have it up here, so I'll make sure that I show that one to you guys too, because that's a good one. I might even be able to pull it up right now while we wait to see if Carrie gets back in here with us. What's that?
I think she didn't get her sound enabled right.
Yeah, I mean that definitely was the underlying issue for show.
If she opens it in Chrome, it will work better. It will allow it.
Oh yeah, try that, Carrie, if you're listening. Try to open it in Chrome. Maybe if you opened it, maybe Safari, or did it with some sort of Apple something. Maybe that's what caused the problem. Let me see here. Trying to find it. Oh yeah, it's funny to. So Vinny, let's go back to while we wait for all of this for Herbert and Carrie, and there's Herbert. Herbert's back. Let's talk about the intake process. Let's talk about what's going on with this Katahdin program. While we wait for Carrie to come back, explain to me a little bit more about Katahdin and what are they trying to do with that?
It's basically an artificial intelligence. It's an AI. It just came out not too long ago to replace their old system. And at the intake level, they're supposed to use it only when someone makes a phone call on you. So if someone reports you to CPS, they're supposed to use Katahdin, so it sends out that intake to the worker. Okay. Now they're taking it and using it as a database. So they're collecting all this information on you and they're putting it in this AI. Okay. So this AI is learning everything on this case and slowly repeating the same stuff over and over again.
Okay. So it's not updating itself to the case. It's actually just adding more information of the same. So in essence, the caseworker or whoever looks at these reports is seeing no change. They're not seeing anything that's relevant to them getting reunification.
Right.
Because all they're seeing is the same. They're seeing the same situation go over and over and over. That's pretty terrible. And like what I read is that a lot of these caseworkers are using it and they're depending on it to do their overworked, work that they have, because they just look at this AI and this AI just dictates what they want them to funnel down for whatever. I mean, that's pretty disturbing that you have an AI now come in and handle it, and the fact that someone thinks that the crew itself thinks that they're confident enough to put the lives of children and families in the hand of a computer that can't even make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Right.
They need that computer. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there just seems to be some
and as you saw in the report, there's major flaws with that system right now.
Right. It's just, I mean, the whole thing with the AI and the technology. Come on, man, let Herbert back in. I'm trying to get Herbert in. I'm trying to push this button, and I'm not able to. Come on, Herbert. Come on. Oh, I had him. Hold on, Herbert. I almost get you. There he is. All right, Herbert, got you back, bud. Welcome back.
I'm back.
Okay. So we went on while we're waiting for Carrie. I don't know if Carrie's going to try to come back or not. We'll have the cat discussion or the litter box discussion some other time if we have to. But I don't want that to go unspoken either. But Herbert, what do you think about AI being involved in the intakes of children being taken? So you find out that the basis of your child being removed was on this computer that, in essence, caseworker had to give them the information to begin with for them to make the assumption and the ruling on what they did, right? Like, that's how this thing works.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
but the way AI works, AI is 2 + 2 = 4. Period. It doesn't vary. It doesn't listen to any variations. It's just 2 + 2 = 4, and that could be a problem because in every case there's a slight variation to things.
Right.
And you can't convince AI that you can make 5 - 1 = 4. No, it just knows 2 + 2 = 4, and if you fall in that category, then this is what the deal is.
Wow. I mean, it's just mind-blowing to me that they're turning to this such an important, life-altering situation that they have turned themselves into just a victim, I guess, or a number or a stat on a computer screen. And, like, this AI isn't going to remember who you are every time it comes back and it says, hey, whatever AI, show me, Claude, and then, or whatever. And I wasn't meaning to say the name there, but show me the AI and then show me, like, the story from this week. Well, all they're going to have is the information that they have talked about. So if there's a bunch of missing information in there, they're not going to report on that. And here comes Mrs. Caseworker, forgot that they didn't update their file or any of that stuff. They come in, they go to court, and it looks like they're the worst parents in the world. Now what do we do? What do we do there?
From listening to your show, if everything was AI, including the court system, the judge, and everything would work out a whole lot better because there's nobody being subjective. Everything will be exactly objective.
Right.
But once you have the judge making decisions based on his feelings of the day, that messes things up. If the judge was AI,
Yeah.
AI is not going to mess anything up. AI is going to listen to the facts and then come up with an answer based on factual stuff.
But you
we
don't
do.
think? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Benny.
We do have the missus here too now.
Oh, hey, Lynn. How are you?
Hello.
We did a Walmart.
Hi.
She's doing some research. It looks like. Lynn, what do you think about this Katahdin thing?
I think it's shit.
I mean, what do you have a little bit more input on what it is and what it's doing and what they're using it for and how they're using it wrong? And
One of my friends who also had her children taken from her, she actually got a hold of the Katahdin files in her case, which she's not sure if she was supposed to begin with.
Right.
And it has a whole bunch of lies in it about her case, and she found out that they're not just using it as like the initial when they call to make a CPS report on someone. They're actually using it for the entire case, and it'll flag you if you're black. It'll flag you if you have a disability. It'll flag you if you're on SSI. It flags you for a bunch of different things.
Now, what are the penalties? So, explain about flagging to people that don't know what you're saying here.
It's flagging to show, like, if you're on disability, you're going to get more for that child because they have disability. So you're getting their money along with whatever the foster rate is. And then they're flagging you because they don't think this certain type of person can raise their child and is good for their children.
So they're profiling.
Yes.
All right, Herbert, that's a word that you know. Profiling. What's new about that? I mean, you guys kicked that out of the police department a long time ago, right? Like you can't profile anymore.
No, well, there's still a degree of profiling going on, especially with the type of crimes that are going on nowadays.
Okay. But
there's a degree.
Necessary?
In terms of CPS profiling, I don't think it should be. I don't think there should be profiling in CPS situations.
Because I would love to find out from a CPS caseworker, what are those common ground, not issues, but not, like what are the common ground? Yeah, I guess the common ground.
See, I know what you're trying to say, Darren, but you can't, it's not the same apples and oranges here, because if there's a vehicle with dark windows sitting in front of your home, and it sits there and it's never been there before, it's just sitting there, the homeowner is going to profile and say, hey, that car don't belong there, even though it's in a public street, right? It's in a public street, it's allowed to be there, but they profiled. There's this car, there's people sitting in it, it's dark glass, they're going to call the police. Isn't that not profiling?
Well, I mean, that's a concern that there's a car that's been parked there.
That's profiling. that's because the car is in a public street, it's not doing anything.
When I hear profiling, I think of, and I don't mean this, I'm not disrespecting any people that are out there that are listening and watching the show. I appreciate you guys watching it. I am by far not a racist or anything. But if you were sitting there and you were like, hey, 2 black guys or 2 white guys or 2 Chinese dudes or 2, and then they go on, they are what they are. But when you get into, they look like they do drugs or they're gang members or they're this or that because they're wearing backwards hats and wearing red. That doesn't, but in their eyes, they're pushing that element of, this is part of this profile that we put together, no?
Sure, that could be that. Nowadays, what police would do on a call like that, they would do a drive-by, take a look. The person's not doing anything wrong, not doing anything bad, they leave them alone. But that only goes for what states and with how big the department is, because you go to some states, you have a black person walking through a white neighborhood, and there's no blacks living in the neighborhood, the cop's going to stop him and say, "Who are you? What's your name? Let me see your ID."
Now,
Well,
I've been stopped. I've been stopped as a white person in a black neighborhood when I was in Florida once. And
Yeah,
now
because they
stopped
profiled
for my
you.
safety. Right, and he stopped me for my safety.
Okay, so let's get back to CPS now. With CPS, something develops the profile.
Yep.
Right. But they still flag you even if you have medical illnesses like depression, anxiety, anything mental or emotional, they flag you for.
Yes, I can see that. Based on my readings, I can see that.
And they
Can
use it
flag you,
against you.
but I'm agreeing with you. But something has to perceive that. Something has to have happened just before that.
Does it when you throw in profiling? When you
Just
read
because
profiling,
you
when
have
add profiling into this, that's a whole new game now. You've brought a whole another level to what CPS is doing and how they're doing it. Because now they might say black people smoke more blunts than white people, or things like along those lines. They're going to start to influence their decision-making skills and what they do with the traditions and the normalcies of each ethnic group. That's not fair, You don't
It still starts off with what perceived it, what irritated the CPS. Something started it. There's got to be a start. It can't just be because the fact that they're profiling you.
Well, I mean, it really can't.
It has to be something.
Okay, so what if is it a far stretch to say, okay, we're profiling Herbert because we know once we can get in there and we can get a warrant and we can start questioning him and all of this, that his chances are good he's probably going to have a blunt in his house because he's black. And I'm just using this as a
okay. What did Herbert? Okay, let's deal with Herbert. What did Herbert do to draw attention to CPS? What?
But you didn't do anything but be you, man. That's what I'm saying. Because everything shows, everything that's in this world points to the fact that if you're black, you smoke a blunt of marijuana. Well, then they sit there and they say, well, we got Joe Blow, white guy over here, which he does probably, they go to work and all this stuff, and they do cocaine on the weekends. Or you got Herbert that's smoking a blunt because he's a black man. Let's go after the black man because chances are good we're going to get him for the weed smoke and for the joint, and that's all lasting longer on him. Therefore, they just profile those two groups to which one they can take the weeds from.
Let's put Herbert in a situation where he hangs out with a bunch of people that smoke, they do dope. The police are profiling the whole group of people, and Herbert is part of that group. Okay, Herbert's now a subject of attention. And Herbert has children at home. And the police is already looking at that group of people for selling drugs or doing drugs, and Herbert hangs out with those people. I just made myself a target. Just by being part of those people.
Right, but what did you do to affect your child?
Just being a part of that group of people.
Okay, that's fair.
That made me a target. That made me the target right there.
So now,
because they know I have children at home.
So now what we're saying is that they're preemptively selecting people based on race, color, and who they hang out with. Because you are right about that. First of all, you are right that they are about the people that you are around, because I was told point blank. So I'm a big advocate for helping people. You know that, Herbert. You hear it all the time, Benny. I mean, you know who I am and everything. So I don't necessarily always get, I'm not getting the cream of the crop, stand up Mr. Citizen of the United States here. I'm getting people that need help, that are seeking me for help in one way or the other. So I've gotten seen with these people with me. I might have just picked them up from a methadone clinic, or I might have picked them up from, they were at a substance abuse class or whatever. But you're right. Now I'm just as guilty because I get seen in this car with, Joe Blow, that's a known whatever. And now CPS sees me, they see me with Joe Blow, the cops see me with Joe Blow, and now Darren is under investigation because he's with Joe Blow. In reality, all I'm doing is helping this poor guy get a ride from his substance abuse class to his methadone clinic and then to home safely and on time. But
Yeah, and you didn't know that this person he's being investigated for an armed robbery, for example.
right.
And the police are watching him. They're watching him, and you pick him up. Now they're watching him go with you,
Yeah,
and you don't even know the guy has a record.
correct. Know nothing about it at all.
Nope.
You know.
He has fleas, and the dog catcher's coming after him and you.
Yeah. All because you're just right there at that moment in time.
Well, think about, without using names, I'm not going to use names, but just think about the dynamic duel down in Florida. All right? Remember she made a purchase of marijuana?
Yep.
The husband gets in a car. They both get arrested for having their marijuana. The husband opens his mouth and says, oh, I got to get somebody to take care of my kids or whatever.
Yeah.
When he did that, he advised the authorities that he has children at home.
Right.
He invited CPS into his life.
Right. You're absolutely right. Yep.
If he didn't say anything about, if they would have just got arrested and let go within an hour, it would have been fine. But no, he had to open his mouth and say, oh, I got children at home. I can't leave them at home and blah, 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 blah. Okay, I have underage children at home. He opened his mouth up and all of a sudden, bada bing, bada boom, CPS was invited. He invited CPS into his life.
You guys got to read what Lynn posted in here. It says that the program also tells them whether or not to reunify with the family or not.
Oh, wow.
Got it. That's the AI program.
So what we need to do with that is we need to get somebody to get a hold of that and then have it go in our favor as the parents.
Exactly.
You know? But let's, Herbert, oh, shoot, I just lost it. Damn it. What was it I was going to say to you? So that begs to the next question, back to where you were just saying, should parents, when they get arrested, because I'm going to go ahead and tell you from my experiences, and you have way more experience than I, the first thing you usually probably hear out of someone's mouth when they get arrested is, my kids are at home, I got to go, because whether they're trying to use that to get out of getting a ticket or if they're trying to, move along. But I would imagine probably at least 60% of the people that you catch probably say, oh, I got to get home to my kids, right? Like that's probably what you say.
That'd be like an excuse.
Right. So here we go. Here's one of the things that parents need to know. Stop telling the cops when you're pulled over that your kids are at home. Now, this is something that I would have never thought of. I don't know who else would have thought of, but you just hit the nail on the head with that one. Don't tell the cops your kids are home alone, because the cops are the ones
That's right.
Whether it's mandated or not. Use that one.
That's right.
Before you're going to jail overnight, shut your mouth. When you get to jail, call your mother, call someone, let them know that you're in jail and you can't get to your kids. But don't tell the police officer, because the next thing you know, you're in the worst place for you to be in is when you're in a CPS investigation is in jail, because you can't do a damn thing. You can't find anybody to fight for you. You don't get the freedoms to move around. You don't, So yeah, man, that's a good one, Herbert, right there. I really like that. That's not my kid.
But that's all part of.
You don't get any freedoms when you're in jail because they're still monitoring your phone calls and listening in as well.
Right. Yeah. No, you don't want to be in jail when you get that done. When you're trying to fight CPS, that's for sure. But yeah. All right, guys.
But if you talk in a manner that people understand what you're talking about, and the person listening don't know what you're talking about, then there's a way of talking with people listening.
Right.
The listener can't make heads or tails of make sure you feed Winston the wet food, not the dry food or whatever. You see?
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, guys, God, what a good show! What a good show! I'm sorry that Martin and Mandy couldn't make it with us tonight, but you know what? We're still just bouncing around some things here, and we're gonna rebuild this thing from the ground up. And I like where it's headed so far. Listen, guys, if you want to get on the show with us, please get a hold of us at CPSV Hunting Justice at gmail.com. Again, that's CPSV as in Victor, huntingjustice.com. Um, oh man, the phone number. You can actually text us at, let me see here. Just this phone number is new. Let's see here. Phone number is 571 494 8133. And somehow I'm going to try to link that onto the show so we can start doing call-ins on the show. So that's going to be that's the Abolish CPS official hotline number right there. So, guys, write that down. If you need to reach out to me or, one of us or Herbert or whomever else it may be that's with us, go ahead and call that number and it will be directed appropriately and accordingly. And then, like I said, I'm trying to set that up so we can start doing call-ins on shows. We have a lot of cool things coming up that we need to start paying attention for. We're gonna, like I said, we're changing things up a little bit, so just bear with us while we're doing that. Vinny, how about some last words from you, bud?
All I'm gonna say is keep fighting for your kids because they're the lifeline of your life.
All right, man. I like that. Does Mama want to get in there and do anything, or is she off for the eve? Does she want to say some last words?
Don't let CPS intimidate you.
There you go. Absolutely. Good one. All right, Herbert.
Learn about CPS. Learn about CPS. Learn about things you should or should not do with your children to avoid being a victim of the system. Yeah. Once you're a victim, it's like having ants. It's going to be hard to get rid of them.
Oh, hey, hold on. We got Carrie back. Let's see if we can get Carrie in on that. Carrie, hold on. I'm coming for you. Let me see if we can get Carrie. She just made it back. Let's see if I can get her in here. I'm trying, Carrie. Hold on. This is just the damnedest thing, Herbert. Vinny, you know what? I would like to give you and Mama a task there. I want you to do a lot of research on this. I want you to find out as much as you can about this Katahdin project, because I want to know too if this is a protocol for what's to come, if Maine's the only state. Let's find out how they do it, who programs it. Let's tear this thing apart. Are you down with that, man? Are you down with trying to figure this out?
Absolutely.
Because I think we just, that could be the head of the snake right there. We don't even know it. So.
I also think that, us Mainers need to band together and maybe even come up with our own rally against CPS.
Yeah, I'm definitely down with that, man. We will do that for sure. Let me see here. I'll give Carrie one more shot. I don't know what the hell. Oh, I had her. She's coming around the mountain when she comes. Carrie's coming around the mountain when she comes. Carrie, come on now. Hold on, I'm trying, guys. There she is. I got her. Carrie, are you there?
I hear something.
Bashaka. Carrie, are you there? Earth to Carrie. Company leader to Carrie. Do you copy? Over.
Tell her check her mic. Check her camera buttons.
You just told her to. Herbert, we're on live, remember? Every time you tell me to do something, the same people hear you say it as they would hear me.
Oh, that's right. Hey, Carrie, check your mic. Look down at the icon. Look at the icon and make sure there's no cross over the mic or no cross over the camera. If there is, push the button. Push it.
Akon, huh? I didn't know that you were an Akon fan. What do we got? Hey, Carrie, are you coming on? No, doesn't sound like Carrie's getting in here. Well, you know what, guys? I will work with Carrie. We'll figure this thing out because she's got a lot to say. I really enjoyed talking with her too. But I want to thank Carrie for coming on tonight. I hadn't seen her in a minute. It seems like forever. But there she was in the type. So, Carrie, that was great to see you out here tonight. Everybody else that has been watching the show, really appreciate it. Bear with us, support us, like, share. We got a lot of cool things coming out from now until we do whatever. Vinny, I really like your idea about coming up with a protest right here in the state of Maine. Whether we do a bike ride, whether we do, whatever the hell we do, we're gonna do something though. Maybe we'll even get Herbert to come out here from Arizona and help us with it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Guys, I'm the CPS Punisher. These are my friends. And we're all out of here. Have a good night.
And I am here to share an important message with you. Remember, every minute in the USA, a child is taken by CPS. Watch CPS Victims Hunting Justice every Monday through Friday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time to learn about the destruction of families. Join us on this journey as we shine a light on the struggles and seek justice for those affected by CPS intervention. Together, let us raise awareness and work towards creating a better future for our children and families. Tune in to CPS Victims Hunting Justice and stand with us in the fight for a fair and just child protection system.